What is up, everyone? Today in this video, I'm going to be walking through my progress review for the month of August. These are most of the sheets that I've done. Of course, I'm also doing the draw box course, which I cover in a different video, so those sheets are not included in here. So how much am I drawing these days? I would say pretty much almost every day. So there's quite a bit to cover here, and I'm just gonna dive right into it. So this first sheet here is actually a activity I found from Cynic's Design. Get that to the side. I've been doing a little bit more figure drawing. You'll see quite a bit of this in these practice sheets. So really trying to work on gesture. I still struggle a lot on gesture. Okay, as I also mentioned, I am doing the portrait course from Proco, so you'll also see quite a few head drawings in here, along with some of the features of the face. So you'll be seeing some of those as well. I think there are some pretty good drawings in this batch as well. Oh look. Okay, so I've also been toying with this concept of trying to get starts going, so you'll see me practicing some lay-ins and things like that. Again, some more exercises, and again some more gestures. Some of these I really liked how this type of gesturing turned out. I think it really captures kind of some of the poses that are going on there. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I think there are quite a few of these gesture studies. I still struggle with structure quite a bit, which is why I'm also taking the draw box course. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Let's just say that it's tough. All right, so this one, I copied this from Brian Cox, I think it is, from the Watts Atelier. He has an Instagram account. Trying to copy some of his mannequinization. He's just awesome. His stuff is awesome. So yeah, probably going back and forth through that. Some more exercises from Cynics. Few just random practice stuff. I think that was from Imagination, just trying to doodle some stuff there. We got some more gestures going on. These were reclined poses, so that was good. Some more random head stuff. I think I was just throwing a bunch of heads out there and getting some practice in. These were head type shapes from some famous people. Some of them kind of slightly came out to resemble the person, but this was just kind of getting the head structure and head in place there. This again was from Proco's course. Some of the class lessons that he went through. I am noticing with this course that there are not a lot of assignments specifically, and so knowing how important it is, I tend to just practice along with the actual lessons and draw the studies from those lessons as well, even though he doesn't specifically say that we should, just because I know that you can't learn by just watching videos. You have to actually do something. This one I was working on trying to simplify shadow shapes a little bit here that would also bring out the structure of the torso and hips. I think this one worked out pretty well. Yeah, just trying to get simplified shadows and not try to copy every single contour as I normally tend to get trapped into doing. I'm still struggling with simplifying big to small and not getting caught up in the details. I think I'm going to continue to work on that. So some more random studies there. And yep, still trying to work through some gestures and structure. I I bought a book, How to Draw the Marvel Way, because I just heard so much about it. These are some studies that I did from that book, some of the drawings. Probably get 2 more of that later on. But yeah, it actually being in the Drawbox course now and having done these, like, it's starting to make a little bit of sense in terms of how things should be laid out. So I talked about Brian Cox. He has some really nice shading. The core shadow that they normally put down with their pencil is so cool. Trying to capture some of that. Still have a lot of work to do on trying to capture that. More gestures, constantly working on gestures. Oh, gestures, the bane of my existence. This again was from the portrait class. This one I found a picture of Anne Hathaway. Maybe you see some resemblance. Let me know in the comments. I think there's some resemblance there. I think there's some. This was another quick lay-in that I tried to do. You see me trying to practice the core shadow with varying degrees of success. And of course, more gestures. I think I'm probably going to be doing gesturing forever. It's actually harder than it looks. Some people who are really good at it, I'm really impressed with their gesture studies. It's just outstanding. Okay, these were some more basically giving myself assignments from the Proco course, because yeah, just knowing I have to get the practice in. This was a lay-in, trying to practice angles and practice getting proportions right. Made some notes here. Some of the angles are getting better. The feet section was good, but it didn't all quite fit together. Small head, big butt issues. Small heads and big butts. Yeah, some more practice on turning the pencil, trying to get a handle on how to use my tools. So this is, you're gonna see a lot of, one of the interesting things that I'm learning is just how much you go back and forth between doing drawings that you think really work well and then coming back and doing some drawings where it just feels like a total failure. That is, as they say, your failures will always be with you. So yeah, again, working on some quick lay-ins, working on trying to do that core shadow thing that they do at the ateliers. Oh my goodness. I think this one turned out okay. This is again from How to Draw Comics, How to Draw Marvel Way. I don't think comics is in there, but yeah. More practice exercises, just general warm-ups. These again were some full figures, again practicing on trying to simplify the shadow shapes in there to create a sense of volume, and also kind of lay-ins without specifically measuring, but trying to gesture a basic lay-in in place and put some simplified shadow shapes on them. So I think these two turned out pretty good. I liked how they turned out. Oh yes, so ellipses and circles. This is actually from the beginning of another drawing book that I bought as well. How to Draw the Human Figure. I don't remember exactly who wrote it right now, but I can probably bring it on one of these videos. So yep, they're showing heads, connecting the necks, going back to amateurs, which is not, well, amateur. not as not as someone who's just starting out and is not good at something, and it's a specific name they give to these stick figures. Yeah, there was one holding a shield and I put a star on it, Captain America. Here we go. Okay, this is the eye portion feature for the Proco course. This one was quickly trying to copy during the live demonstration. This was one I did afterwards. Again, finding my own assignments and just getting to it. More from that figure drawing book that I talked about. Basically putting together amateurs, and they're going on to kind of gestural amateurs. More eye studies. This one I tried to do with a totally different value structure than going with super dark that I've done several times. Wanted to try one going with much lighter values and see if I could still keep it all together. I think it came out pretty good. This one I did with a new pencil I also got. I think it's the Stadler mechanical pencil. Probably not pronouncing that right, but this was a 2H lead for that one. More figures, some of these drawn directly from the book. This one from Imagination. Yeah, it's getting practice in. More practice with heads. I think these at the bottom were done from the book, and some of these I just kind of randomly did. Here another one with shadow shapes and a quick lay-in. Just trying to continue to practice, seeing if I can capture the gesture in a quick lay-in and throw some simplified shadow shapes on it. So continuing to work on that, which I think it turned out okay. I like that one. Moved on to the nose in the Proco portrait course, trying to get the structure. Again, copying out all of the drawings from the lesson, making sure I'm not just watching the videos, but actually putting in some practice. I don't know how good it's coming out on the video, but this one was actually done with a charcoal pencil I had in my little case that my wife bought me. This one is graphite. I don't know if I see everyone using charcoal. I don't know. I think I still prefer graphite. Probably has to do with how small I'm drawing. These are, if somebody knows if charcoal I need to draw bigger, let me know. I wasn't really impressed with how it turned out. Maybe it's the paper that I'm using as well. Anyway, yep. I'm also continually trying to work on structure. I think structure is really tough for me. Trying to draw these structural representations in space, and Drawbox is helping with that. Help faster. But yeah, doing a lot of work on that. Here's another quick lay-in, trying to capture gesture and simplified shadow shapes. It goes all right. I think there are some proportion stuff in here that I'm just not getting a handle of yet. And okay, so here we go. This is another instance of this. 822, drew this one, feeling pretty good. 823, wham, I cannot get this gesture to work at all. I had to make myself a note here because I was starting to get a little frustrated. It's just like, okay, just calm down. Calm down. It's not all gonna be winners. I mean, some days up, and then the next day, crash and burn. Jeez. Okay, more structure work. This was 823 as well, so this was after working through this. I'm like, you know what, let me just switch a little here and go back to to trying to work on structure, doing more structure studies, making sure I'm turning the box in space, making sure how I'm interpreting the gesture and the pose in space, I can actually do it in a simplified form, which I really need to do more of. Just trying to do it simple first. They normally say if you can't do it simple, you can't do it in the more complicated form either. I think part of the challenge is, you might not know this, but a lot of the real, like if you look at the drawings that I did at the end of the Proco class, a lot of drawing those hyper-realistic forms or figures really has to do with the measuring, which is kind of counterintuitive, because you learn all this structure per se, but really if you measure a lot, even without knowing how to structure it, you're going to come out with a pretty good drawing. And I think for me, I eventually want to be able to draw some of these figures from imagination and just create stuff. And so it's important for me to not necessarily become the best measurer possible, but I really want to be able to just interpret it, put it in space, have it structured correctly, and then build a form around that, which is kind of odd because I think initially I was getting frustrated with the whole structure thing, and because measuring seemed to come more easier to me, I probably just wanted to measure and draw good pictures, but now I think I'm actually wanting to create things. I think in part it's because of Drawbox and I'm seeing some cool stuff there. It's a little bit more inspiring, I don't know. So even like something like this, where I just drew some boxes and kind of have the perspective thing playing on in there, is, I don't know, I'm starting to like a lot of stuff that has to do with drawing more than just figures alone. I mean, just the whole creative process is just becoming more intriguing to me. Here's a lot of work on ellipses. I'm going to continue practicing ellipses because I struggle with ellipses. So here's some more structure. I'm going to continually be working on structure as it relates to gesture as well. I'm doing a lot of torso work. I think I'm going to start, I need to do a lot of hand and feet work as well, how they connect to the torso as well as the head. I need to work on my connections. A lot more ellipses work, especially getting the minor axis to line up. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on that. Some more structure work here, going into a little bit of anatomy from the book that I talked about. I like this book because it's almost oversimplified. The Proco anatomy stuff is really good, but the drawings are super complicated, which is why I didn't jump into the anatomy right away. I mean, yeah, I'm still having some issues turning boxes and stuff correctly, and yeah, I think the anatomy course was a little bit intimidating. The book that I'm drawing from now it's almost oversimplified, but I think I need to be able to position things in space at least correctly first in the simplified version. I looked at the hand video on Proco and wow, those structure drawings are amazing. I mean, so complicated. All right, yeah, doing some more practice work here. This was almost kind of random doodling. Random head. And this is also from the Proco portrait class, working on the feature of the lips. And so next time I'll probably have some realistic lip sketches in here. This was all from the actual lesson again, where I just go through and try to draw almost all the drawings from the lecture just for practice again, because there are less assignments in this one. And so yeah, I just make it a point to not just watch but also to draw, replicate, get the practice in. Yeah, so this is the progress for August, practice sheets. And so yeah, I'm having a good time learning more and more every month. I'm gonna be excited to get through Ellipses. I mean, I've really struggled with Ellipses in the past, present. So it'll be good to see that. So if you want to see me continue on my journey, try to figure out if I can actually learn to draw, I am seeing some progress. Looking forward to what's to come. Join me on this journey, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone.